Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're looking at 3 brand new Tenyi cards revealed for Supreme Darkness. This is pretty hype. You know, a lot of people are huge fans of like that SWORDSOUL deck, and I'm a big fan of Tenyi specifically, not as much SWORDSOUL. So this is really cool to see. I think this will probably have applications for both strategies. We'll just have to see exactly what comes out of it here. But really cool to see. Hopefully they're quite good, because SWORDSOUL is just one of the SWORDSOUL Tenyi is kind of just one of those like super fair strategies that just doesn't do enough strong enough stuff to really be able to compete on like the highest level, and maybe this will help push it back up into like that higher tier again. But we'll have to see. So let's dive into this. 3 new cards. I think it's a new main deck monster, new extract monster, and a new field spell. Let's see how they go. All right, first one here is Tenyi Spirit Surya. Surya? I think that's pronounced close. This is a light worm tuner effect monster. 1600 attack, 0 defense. You can only use its first and second effects once per turn. If you control a worm monster or a non-effect monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Cool. That's pretty easy. That's a very easy condition to fulfill. That means any Tenyi or SWORDSOUL, basically. This is just jumping on the field. Second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material for a worm monster, you can special summon 1 Tenyi Link monster from your extra deck. It cannot be used as link material. Then you lose life points equal to its link rating times 1,000. Interesting. Trying to think here off the top of my head, like what are you doing with the link monster if you're not able to use it as link material? I mean, I guess to be fair, you can just summon the link 4 off of this effect. There is no restriction on what like level of link you can summon. The link 3 is kind of like a board wipe card. That one's fine. The other 2 are vanilla. Oh, you can also summon the link 2, which reborns one. So there actually is some utility there, but you are going to pay a good chunk in life points. So as long as you're not really worried about time in that duel, that is a pretty strong effect for sure. For sure. Interesting. Okay. I mean, like, cool. Just like solid extender, like easy extender, jumps out of the hand and then is just at worst giving you a +1. Not being able to be used as link material is awkward. I will say that. But it's not the end of the world, because between the link 4 and the link 2, for the most part, those are the 2 that I think like you can still get pretty good value off of this card for pretty freely. So cool. All right, next up here we have a new Synchro 8. This is the level you want for Tenyi. You either want 8 or 10 most of the time. 8 is probably even better. But yeah. Even better than that. So this is Tenyi Spirit Moola Adhara. Is a light worm synchro, 3000 attack, 0 defense. Completely generic. That's exactly what you want to see as well. That means, you know, you could take one of the Tenyi 7s with Adhara to make this, or you could even just use SWORDSOUL lines to get into this, or even generically potentially as well. You can only use the first effect of this card once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned and you have 2 or more worm monsters in your graveyard and or banishment, you can add any field spell from your deck to your hand. Whoa, that's kind of insane. Any field spell. So basically in SWORDSOUL Tenyi, which you're always basically making this with 2 worms, you're searching any field spell. That seems crazy. Holy. Okay. I mean, I don't know like what the best generic field spells are, but I know just being able to search any field spell is pretty scary. We'll have to see on that. I don't know if there's like super degenerate things for it, but whatever. All right. Second effect, this card gains these effects while there is a non-effect monster on the field. Okay, so this is maybe one of the bonuses where, like, even if you're just summoning a vanilla off of her, like just one of the link 1s, even though he can't be used as link material or whatever, it does still turn on this guy for those reasons. All right, so he cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Your opponent cannot target him with card effects, and he can make a second attack during each battle phase. Those are pretty. I mean, that's not nothing, right? Like, he's 6,000 damage. He can't be destroyed by card effects, and he can't be targeted. That's some pretty good protection overall, especially for a card that's like already searching you any field spell in the game on summon. Pretty good. Seems pretty good. I don't know. All right, and the last card we have here is a field spell here. This is Eternal Perfection of the Tenyi. They already have a field spell, Flawless Perfection. I think it gives you draws, and it kind of makes your vanillas like pseudo kind of like Towersy. But we'll see if this one's maybe a little better than that one. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. The first effect reads: when this card resolves, you can add one Vessel for the Dragon Cycle or Heavenly Dragon Circle from your deck to your hand. Whoa! Okay, so Vessel, I pulled these up just prior. Vessel says send one worm from your deck to the graveyard. Then if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can add a Tenyi monster with a different name from the one sent to your hand. That's really good because theoretically this could be a combo where like you're literally going summon the... well, yeah, you're theoretically going like summon, use her as an extender, summon this guy, she summons a vanilla, he's searching you the field spell, then the field spell is searching you Vessel, where you have the synchro and the vanilla, where now this card is live to then get you the dump and the add. You have the vanilla on field, so whatever, you know what I mean, you're dumping is live. If you're sending like the light, I can't remember their names off the top of my head, to like summon another one from deck, yada yada, you just keep going. That's really cool. That's solid. And the other one's the Heavenly Dragon Circle. This is also a card I've seen see play in like SWORDSOUL Tenyi builds. Tribute a worm monster as cost to add any worm from deck to hand, and or if you tributed a non-effect monster, you can just summon it instead, but negate its effects. And then during the main phase, if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card to add a Tenyi from deck to hand. Both good in their own right. These are cards that I've seen both see play in these types of decks, so cool that these are added in there. These just get even more accessibility there. That's cool. Second effect, you contribute a worm monster, then target a monster on the field, destroy it. Yo, I mean, that's pretty nice too. Straight up. Oh, that helps break boards. That just helps with spot removal. Help you push for damage by clearing monsters out of the way. That's just good. That's easy. You get free worms on the field so often in that type of deck. And then third effect, once per turn, during your end phase, you can send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, place one Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi from your deck or graveyard face up in your field zone. That's really cool too. So the field spell I was talking about before, where it's like an interesting card, but it's not really seen like too much play competitively. So it's kind of like it's more of a card that's better on your opponent's turn than yours, but it makes all effect monsters on the field unaffected by monster effects, so pseudo towers. And then once per turn, if your opponent special summons any effect monster while you control a face down or non-effect monster, you draw 2 cards. So basically, by playing one copy of Flawless, you were probably already playing Vessel, most likely, and maybe Heavenly Dragon Circle, and then just adding this in as a searchable field spell. You're going to set up like Flawless, you're going to go into the spells to like continue your plays, and potentially the spot removal, just removing a free monster from your opponent's field as well. This is pretty good. This certainly lends more help to the Tenyi engine specifically. I would say, like, I doubt this is enough to make, like, Tenyi pure good enough on its own. But, man, it certainly might be good enough to just, like, add it into SWORDSOUL Tenyi. Maybe be enough to actually just drive them a little bit further and, like, higher up the rogue ladder. And, like, maybe even into Tier 2 and maybe even into Tier 1.5. I don't see Tier 1 out of this, but I definitely see for a deck that's already felt, like, fringe. Like, it's out there, like... You see it here and there. There's a lot of fans of it, but it has been power crept. This is the kind of support where, like, maybe these 3 cards are enough to just get them enough of a step up to be able to compete in that rogue level. But regardless, I think they're solid. I think they're all good, like, good cards. Not even, like, okay. I think all 3 seem like good cards. They all have really good... they all really blend into the deck that already exists really well. I think there's some real potential here. These could be really good. I'm excited to see what comes out of these, for sure. But yeah, that's basically it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Let me know your thoughts down below. I've messed around with Tenyi in the past, but I've never really messed around with SWORDSOUL myself. So please let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on, I guess, kind of both. If you're just like a Tenyi fan, is pure Tenyi a thing? Let me know based on this. If not, that's totally cool. Let me know your thoughts on, like, SWORDSOUL Tenyi, and if that deck, like, where that deck kind of lands with these three new cards if you're already a fan of those and you kind of have a more in-depth knowledge on the deck. I'd love to hear thoughts on that down below. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching as always, guys. Cool stuff. This is a nice addition to this set. I was actually just thinking earlier today and yesterday, I was like, man, we're almost halfway through Supreme Darkness, and I know people are always going to disagree, and like you can argue on like what makes a set good or not. But for me personally, looking at the set so far through the first like whatever 35 cards that had been revealed, I was like, I guess the speed word cards are like kind of interesting to me. And literally, other than that, there is nothing else I was really interested in the entire set. So this adds another interesting thing. And I was sitting there, I was going, yeah, but if they hit on like the next like 2 or 3 things that come out, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, then I'll turn around and I'll immediately be like, nope, we're in. Like, it's not a big deal. The set's looking better for me. This helps. I'm not gonna lie. This does intrigue me a little bit as a fan of Tenyi, but we'll obviously have to see what everybody decides, how people decide to integrate these in. But yeah, that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date on all things Yu-Gi-Oh news, subscribe to the channel because I make videos anytime news drops. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.